back to the YouTube channel of Old Bloke Crypto. On February the 15th, 2024, had an hour and a half after the close, and what an amazing day it was yesterday. Best day we've had in a long time, certainly in this little phase period that we're entering into now. And as you see from the screenshot, did rather well myself. Had 3 profitable trades, one the high time frame trade from 26.40 to 27.21. Give another couple of scalps. And as price came back to 27.23, he entered another scalp, took that up to 27.52. Price came back again to 27.50 and closed that out at 27.83. So these last two basically became scalps from placeholders, longs that I had in place, part of my Permanent Hedge strategy. Came into good profit. Time came to close, and thank you very much. And of course, I do have a long placeholder back in place. Now, for accountability's sake, here are the trades themselves and the numbers. Now, you see here, after the big long 20 ETH, the original one, the high time frame, close that out, profit or 1,500. Then I took some off my hedge, 0.5 beneath off my hedge. So then my trim off that hedge took about 20%, and I tried to not do any more than 20% off the overall profit of the trade. So that was a nice little trade. That's $1,300 straight away. Next one closed along at 5.16, 20% off, ended up with 412. That was one of the scalps. And the next one, 454.15 beneath, which was $81, ending up with a profit of $370. So a nice day all around. So one high time frame position and 2 scalps, which came from placeholders being put in place and then becoming positions to close out the trade and to take these scalps. So 3 in 1. And of course, the placeholder is in place again now. So let's go through what happened yesterday and how you can apply this to the days going forward, because yesterday's trade is yesterday's trade and we want to continue on with these profitable trades. So here we go. And before I do, please hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell on this page, remembering that nothing on this page is financial advice. You do you, as I always say, you make the trades that you choose to. So yesterday, as I said on the YouTube video, we're going to go to 27.20 or 24.70. They were the liquidation areas marked out. And a very short time after I did that, the liquidations were showing that price was rapidly moving to the upside. And by the time I posted this next tweet with a screenshot of the heat map, we got up to 26.65. Make it took that out and continued on. There's more liquidity to the upside, as you can see from that screenshot. And as I said, a few minutes later, and it's gone. And there we go. Just like they say on South Park with depositing money into a bank, which is pretty ironic, really, because it's absolutely true. Why would you? All right. So and there was the next trade, that big high time frame trade closing out at 27.20. Very nice. Then, of course, we had that further big liquidity band up around 27.87. And surely there had to be retail traders, new traders, ones that were inexperienced. And unfortunately, in every bull phase, you're going to get these traders who, what I call liquidity donors, because they just donate their liquidity to the market. And the market says, thank you very much. And unfortunately, see it all the time. So if it was institutions, they would have pulled this liquidity before the price had got up to that point. But as you'll see, it stayed there and was taken out. So there we go. And we were able to, as the price came up and took that to 27.87, should I say get close to it? And you see that got to 27.82 when I posted this, and it was inevitable that it was going to hit that target. As I said, it's within $6 there, 27.82. And sure enough, there it went, 27.84. I got filled out. So thank you very much. And of course, as I said, the shorters are gone. Thanks. It must be retail traders who are inexperienced, like I was just saying. And don't get me wrong, I don't want people to get wrecked, except for institutions and, of course, Mr. Kramer, of course. But the fact is that it's the way that you learn as a trader, that you take losses and you reevaluate and you work out the trading system that works for you. And I dare say those retail traders who just got liquidated are going to be licking their wounds and thinking, now what do I do? So as I said here, okay, what's next? So let's have a look. There's a band around 24.26. Well, there it is, bold as brass down here. Now, let's have a look here. Or should I say 27.26? I'll try that again. All right. So you see that bold as brass down there, 27.26. And as I've been refreshing this page, that band has been getting bright. Now, still sitting there, 27.26. Look at that. Now, price is currently sitting at 27.75. It's hit spike today at about 28.25. It's come off those highs now. What's the bet it's heading for that price? It could well be. Now, if it gets there, what am I going to do? I'm going to add to my long position, placeholder long, absolutely. And it's very interesting. When you keep that in mind, 27.25 or even, close to 27.30, where does that ring a bell? I'll tell you where it rings a bell. It rings a bell here, the prior yearly high. It's coming down to test it. Now, you've got that confluence of when you're going into a new range, like we likely are here. See how we closed yesterday, which is an hour and 3/4 ago, closed it above that prior yearly high. We're establishing a new range, I dare say so, but of course price wants to come down and test that classic market behavior. So that's that 27.20 in confluence with that liquidity band down here at that 27.25. So very, very close. So coincidence? I don't think so. So again, through the course of the Asian session, UK session, I won't be surprised if price comes down into that. If it does, what an opportunity to add to your long position or start a high time frame long position. Absolutely. So let's see what happens during the course of today. Now, as I was talking about yesterday, that top of the prior range of 23.90, 2400, there is liquidity there. Do I think it's going to get taken out now? I don't think so. I think we're likely to test this top of this range and then continue to the upside. The reason being is, have a look at this. Now, of course, the chart doesn't tell the full story, the price chart, but this is simply a reflection of what is happening with the huge demand outstripping supply for Bitcoin from the Bitcoin ETFs. It's as simple as that. King Bitcoin is rising, and for the foreseeable future this week, we're just talking about this week for now, it's going to continue to do so because demand is greatly outstripping supply. Just fundamental market economics. So the pull is to the upside. And what's nice for Ethereum tragics like myself is, as you'll see here, the ETH BTC chart. Let's get this zoomed out a bit. You'll see here that price is continuing, the ratio is continuing to move to the upside in favor of ETH. Now, of course, that's one day at a time. And we're getting close to that. We're touching the 21 EMA. Nice to go above the 50 EMA on the 1 day time frame. But as you can see, the general trend is up. We're coming into resistance now. It was going to be very interesting, but certainly, again, in the last 24 hours, as reflected in this chart, ETH has outperformed Bitcoin. Is a rotation happening into ETH? I don't know just yet, really, because of the huge demand for Bitcoin, as I was just saying. But anyway, it's coming up nicely, and that is a great thing, despite the huge demand for Bitcoin. And just one more aggregated exchange liquidation map, because remember I say that a lot of the heat maps are based on Binance only, whereas this one is Binance, OKX, and Bybit. So you've got the data there. Okay, so using the 1 day, currently it's 27.79 price for ETH. And you'll see here, a lot of liquidation, a lot of liquidity to the downside. And we've got that draw down here from the heat map, that 27.25 on level. Well, definitely you've got a lot of liquidity down here. And even below that, you look at that 27.17, there's a big spike. So you've got a lot of thick liquidity bands down here to 2700 even. But on the heat map, that was that 27.25. And it also coincided with the top of the prior yearly high. So I wouldn't expect price to go much below that. It could deviate below it, but not much below, say, 2700 before it comes back into the range. That's if it does deviate below and doesn't just bounce So always, as I say, if in doubt, zoom out. So normally my trades are on the 1 day. I'm not averse to a scalp, as you know. They've shown you today, but normally the 1 day in the high time frame. But we're running out of information on the 1 day at the moment because all this liquidity is being taken. So where do we go? We go to the higher time frame, which is the weekly. Now, here's our current price up here, 27.78 odd. Okay, so what's above it? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to zoom in here. You see these 1, 2, 3 weeks. They don't look much on this chart, but they are quite substantial, in fact, and in terms of price. And so these weeks are going to be targeted next to the upside. Now, the top of this week here is coming in at 31.83, which is an interesting point to note. So there is one potential. A lot of pundits are targeting this up here, though, which is 3,500. Seems a long way away. Yes, it does. But this is crypto and anything can happen. So my target for the high time frame is $3,500. That's where I'm setting my stop for this current trade. We could get there very, very quickly. People think that is, that's a long way, but they're thinking from bear market phase. They're thinking from traditional finance phase. Anyone that's been in crypto for any length of time knows that moves of 20% can happen to the upside, just like they can happen to the downside. But and with this tremendous overhang of demand over supply for Bitcoin and everything running with Bitcoin, and especially number 2 being Ethereum, which is our next rotation. And you'll see that, as I said from that previous chart, the ETH BTC chart, that it's outperforming Bitcoin, which is going gangbusters itself. That 3,500 is definitely within the realm of possibility, if not next couple of days, which I'm not saying necessarily that, but in the next week or so, absolutely. So high time frame, 3,500. If I see further opportunities for scalps, etc., in the meantime, I will take them like I did yesterday. But my primary trade when it comes to ETH is high time frame, permanent hedge strategy, so that I can continue to harvest these funds as they come in, these trade opportunities as they come in, and continue to make money, which is always great, isn't it? So this is Old Bloke Crypto, hoping you have had in the last 24 hours a very profitable day like I've had, and hoping that today will be the same. What I do know is it's going to be exciting. So trade safe, trade within your means, and be disciplined, be patient, and let's see where the market leads you. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.